When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your A game.
Here we go again.
Hey, Semper Fi to all my fellow veterans. It was good to the A-Game Nation. And welcome back to all my new and old subscribers. I want to say salute to you guys. You already know the deal. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Now, you see today's video is a 5-minute Firewatch, but it pertains to something that most guys aren't comfortable talking about, but I'm going to speak on it. Title of this is Love is a Masculine Battlefield, the modern day POWs. Now, in this video, I want to speak on to the brothers what I mean about modern day POWs. A lot of us are prisoners of our wounds. If we want to keep it 100, we see many expressions of it, both good, bad, and indifferent. Now, the thing is, a lot of us have been brought to this space for a number of reasons, but many similar, some are vastly different. However, when you go around the space and you see a lot of these ongoing panels, you have a lot of dialogue, both good and bad. When you have these interactions that tend to transcend this space into the public sector, we need to address the main things that we're often unafraid or even uneducated about, which is learn how to love ourselves. See, in this gynocratic society, they will make it their duty, their pleasure, to keep you a prisoner of your wounds. A lot of men out here in this space, listening to the sound of my voice, are waging war to get their kids back. Many individuals have allowed or even been put in a position to where you no longer have homes. Your houses are nothing more than spiritual internment camps, subject to torture, subject to disrespect, all kind of psychological, emotional, spiritual torture, some even domestic violence. And I'm speaking on this today because looking to turn the page on things, because it's very hypocritical society that treats men less than 2/5 of a man. They deem us as toxic. They deem us as trash. They deem us as spiritual mules of provision, or spiritually impaired mules of provision, excuse me. And that shit has to stop. Now, I want to say to my fellow veterans, because I'm speaking mainly to you, but not excluding the civilians. You already know about the 5-paragraph order. We speak on SMEAC. Now, to break that down to civilians, just little by little, this is what it is. First, you start with your situation. This is the background to your problem, or a description of what has happened. What were all the events leading to where you are now? Now, using myself, for example, there's been a whole heap of motherfuckers who either lied on me, left me hanging, shitted on me, did all manners of things, even to this day. The most important thing is establishing the spiritual. You have to remember who you are, what you are, why you're here, and what you're willing to do to preserve that. That goes into the situation. Regardless of what it is, the ultimate situation you have to remember, or put it at the forefront of your head: am I sick and tired of being fucking sick and tired? Am I getting the same old results? That result feels like a prisoner or a spiritual hellscape, which I'm living Groundhog Day every day. Now, this may vary for you, but I'm saying to men, this is where it starts. Second part is the mission. So now we know what happened. The mission is what we need to do about it. The mission should be short, clear, and concise statement of what you want to achieve. Now I'm going to let you guys know bluntly, especially veterans, but men in general. No one gives an absolute fuck about excuses. Not your friends, your family, your dog, whoever you want to vent to. And granted, never underestimate the necessity of venting, getting that frustration out, getting that anger out in a constructive way and addressing it. However, there will come a certain point where people are going to wonder what the fuck you willing to do. Now, when I executed Project Phoenix, I took a lot of time to assess my situation, which leads me to the mission. That led me to do step-by-step things I want to do to the letter, things I'm still fleshing out. But it all comes down to not just orientating yourself to the situation, but you start looking at the direction. What's the mission? What's my objective here? Because sitting on here for years and being on these nonsensical panels and not getting any results, that leads to people to not consider your time, you, or anything deal or pertain with you worth anything. You'll just be background noise. Then we talk about the execution. It's the how part of the plan. How are you going to achieve your mission? What are you going to do? The when, where, who, what, when, where, and why. Basically. What are you going to do? Do you have it jotted on a lever? Do you have a voice recorder? Do you have reliable sources that you can talk about these plans, get these battle plans in order? You don't have to be in public because too many guys don't understand the power of confidentiality. Now that you are sick and tired of your situation, now you want to address this issue of you being a prisoner of your wounds. This is where you start getting things into motion, putting things in order. Now, when you're talking about the administration and logistics, it's about what resources you need to do the job and how these resources be coordinated. This is where you start getting real strategic. So I know there are some people that find out the hard way that just because you're blood related doesn't mean they can relate to you. Some guys listening to the sound of my voice realize that they're literally sleeping with the enemy. Sometimes they even birth them because they've been allowed to be programmed and compromised. And that way you don't have a house. You're behind enemy lines. And you're playing that game with your children being used as parental political pieces. That way they're mobilizing against you and you're always the opposition. So with the administration and logistics, you have many of your resources. Number one, you're looking at your time. You're looking at, your mind. You're looking at everything to get you right. Things you need to do to gather yourself, put you in a better position to get out of your situation. And then you go on to the last thing as far as command. This is the who's who of the job. Who's in charge, who do you report to, and how you communicate with each other. Now, it goes back to the spiritual part most times. When I was a cunt hair away from my aneurysm, when I was in these situations where I had bad relationships, not relationships, and to the point where I was in a situation where I nearly died dealing with one because this person gave less of a fuck about my concerns, my health, anything like that. When I had that metal pallet split my head open. Hopefully it never comes to that. But when it comes down to it, some of us have to find a place to get ourselves back. Be it a trusted family member, a friend, someone who gives a damn about us and what we're going through. Sometimes you might have to consult with the Most High, whatever representation that might be. But you have to use that spiritual compass to get back and orientate yourself to, like, you know what? I got to get out of this hell. And I got to find some way, somehow. And sometimes patience can be your best ally and a virtue. Instant gratification will put you right back in that place, if not a lower level of confinement. So I want to say this in closing, fellas. We cannot be afraid to love. What you should be afraid of is trying to give something that you have not taught yourself. That is a foreign language to you. That's why I encourage my brothers to learn how to be selfless, a sensible giver. A lot of times they abuse our nature to be selfless, but when it comes to being sensible, it's a beautiful thing to give. But it's even more powerful to give to yourself. This is why you need established SOS, system, order, and structure. If you don't have no direction, if you have no standards, no discipline, then how in the hell do you expect to be treated as such, as a respected man in this place that we call the gynocracy? You have to protect this and this. You can lose money. You can lose all kinds of things. But if you lose these two battlefields right here, game over. Trust me, I was on the verge of losing both. But see, when you win in these battlefronts up here, that's when you start making a difference. That's when you stop being the pawn of prostitutes across the board. Some of them you put a ring on. They come in all manners and fashion. But in order to free yourself, you have to unapologetically learn to love yourself. Not be narcissistic, not be arrogant, not suffer from hubris, but love yourself enough to orientate yourself to a better direction. Execute the 4 T's. Put value into your time. Vet people out to assess the level of toll you think you should use to keep them in your ranks or kick them out. If they don't pass the sniff test on those 2, they're definitely not worth the trouble nor fucking the threat. So I want to salute to you guys for making it this part, and be looking forward to the Military Mirrors series to continue. I just have a few things to take care of in the morning. That's why I kept this brief, military brief, and I want to hear from you guys, see what you guys got going on. How was your weekend? How are you guys holding up? Doing a wellness check. You can do one on me. You can leave in the comment section or hit my Gmail up at gen1article75@gmail.com. So to both veterans and civilians alike, simplify. And as always, never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin.